Hey Team Bio, welcome to your screencast on important structures of angiosperms. Angiosperms are flowering plants. Flowering plants. And you might think of flowering plants as like tulips and daffodils and irises, and those are definitely all flowering plants. But flowering plants are a much broader group of plants. They're all broadleaf plants. And they include maple trees and oak trees. You might have noticed last week all of the red maples were flowering. There were a bunch of red maples outside of school and they were covered in tiny little red flowers. Grasses are also flowering plants. They produce flowers throughout the summer. And so flowering plants are a very broad category, and flowers are the way that flowering plants reproduce, how they have sex and have babies. So we're going to be talking about plant sex in class and also over this screencast. Okay, so let's talk about important structures of these flowering plants. What are the parts of the flower? Okay, number one are here and here is called the sepal. The sepal is a special type of leaf that covers the flower before it blooms. So the sepals open up and they reveal the flower. Depending on the type of plant, they might open up once and reveal the flower. They also might open and then close every day and night. It just depends on the type of plant that we're talking about. Number two is the part of the flower that I'm sure you're all familiar with. These are the petals. Plants have petals of a variety of different colors, and they also produce scents in order to attract their pollinators. And their pollinators are going to move around their pollen, which is essentially plant sperm. Okay. Kind of interestingly as well, sometimes flowers have patterns, colorful patterns on them that are in the ultraviolet spectrum, so birds and insects can see them, but humans cannot. Okay, structure 3 and 4. Let's start with structure 4. Structure 4 is this long structure here that I am going to color in pink. Structure 4 is called the filament. The filament has sitting on top of it a structure, this little doodah right here, which is called the anther. And out of the anther, the flower produces tiny little grains of pollen. So if you add the anther and the filament and the pollen together, like as a big group, they constitute what I guess we would say is kind of the male sexual organ of the flower, which is called the stamen. And we call it male because there are usually many more grains of pollen that are produced than will ever become an embryo. Okay, so the anther and the filament and the pollen together, they all form the stamen, which is the male sexual organ of the flower. Okay, number 5. This component right here is called the style. The style is an open tube from the top of the structure called the stigma. The stigma is usually pretty sticky, and little grains of pollen will land on the stigma and stick to it, and then they will grow down the length of the style. Inside of the style is structure 6, which is the ovary. And inside the ovary is the ovule, which is like the plant egg. Depending on the type of plant, there can be multiple ovules inside the flower, or there might just be one. So for example, in an oak tree, an acorn, which is the fruit of the oak tree, that just contains one ovule, one seed, but apples, which are the product of apple tree flowers, they have many seeds in them, like probably 10, and so they would have 10 ovules. Okay, so the stigma plus the style, the ovary, and the ovule all together form the female reproductive structure of the flower, and this is called the carpel. And we refer to it as female because these structures, they stay in the flower, or they stay kind of attached to the plant, where they are incubated until they become released from the plants as kind of tiny little baby embryo plants. So that is all of this. This is all the female structure of the flower. Okay, so the flower blooms, hopefully it gets pollinated. So pollen from another flower is brought by either a pollinator or potentially by the wind. It lands on the sticky carpel, it grows down the length of the style, and it fertilizes an egg, an ovule, inside of the ovary. And then over the next couple days, weeks, months, this flower becomes a fruit. Okay, number 6. We have already labeled. You know that number 6 is the ovary of the plant. These are the same. What you might not know as well is that in addition to being the ovary, number 6 is also the fruit flesh. Oops. Usually the part of the fruit that you eat. So for example, if this was an apple, this would be the part of the apple that you eat. And what you're eating is actually plant ovaries. Okay, number 10, we haven't talked about yet. Number 10 is the seed coat. It's a hard coating around the outside of the seed that is going to protect the seed until it's ready to germinate and grow. Number 11, this portion here, right in here, this is called the endosperm. This is going to be food for the developing baby plant. It's usually pretty high in fat. That's why nuts have so much fat and protein in them, because this little baby plant embryo needs something to eat as it grows before it does photosynthesis. And number 12 is the embryo, the little plant baby that's wrapped up inside of the seed. So let's give these all the color purple, because they are the mixture of both the male and female parts of the flower, or they both contributed to it. What is going on here? Okay, I want to do these all in purple. The seed coat, the endosperm, and the embryo. That is all of this. And this is all, the fleshy part of the fruit is all plant ovaries. So, next time you give someone a fresh bouquet of flowers, you can say, "I love you so much. Here are some plant genitalia for you to show you my love." And the next time you bite into a delicious fruit, you can think, how delicious, plant ovaries. And the next time you eat a nut, you can think, I'm eating a plant embryo. All wonderful thoughts to have. Okay, that's all. This is the important structures of flowering plants.